We left off last time with our foundation dug, groundwater issues solved, and a sturdy rock foundation hole to start building the forms for the footers. This is the first time we are in control of the progression of building our house, and that's where we're most comfortable. On top of the footers, we're installing an unorthodox foundation formwork called ICF, or insulating concrete form, that has a ton of advantages. So it's time to get our materials on site and start building this foundation. Let's build a house. The primary purpose of footers is to spread out the weight of the house across a stronger and wider surface area. The footers give the foundation a larger footprint than if it was in contact with the earth. To get these footers started, we laid out with spray paint exactly where the footer forms had to go. Footer forms are any form of solid structure that holds the fresh, wet concrete in place. When the concrete dries, it assumes the shape of the form it was poured into. Luckily, we took advantage of our new sawmill this winter, waiting for the permit. The wood being dropped to the foundation is all of our quote-unquote learning curve cuts. And instead of wasting this wood, we used it to construct our footer forms. Our foundation footings are a total of 270 feet. That's a lot of wood that we would have had to purchase to build the forms if it wasn't for the sawmill. We built forms that were 14 inches high and about 2 feet wide for the house and the garage footers. Smitty also went around ensuring the forms were level for a nice flat surface. All in all, this took us about 3 working days to get all the forms built and installed. We also built a form for the crock pump and the 4 pier footers for the steel columns that will eventually be installed. Once the forms were built to height, we placed reinforcing rebar throughout the middle of the footer forms to strengthen the concrete. Now that the footer forms are built, the rebar has been installed, and we feel confident about the location of the forms throughout the foundation. It's time for concrete.
I'm gonna tell you that I love you 100 times a day. You'll get tired of my voice, that's how much I'm gonna tell you that I'll miss you. I'll miss you if you go. Yes, I'm gonna let you know just how much I tell your mama, I tell your papa too. I'm gonna let everyone know about my love, so I really hope you love me too. Yeah, I really hope you love me too. I'm gonna tell you, gonna tell you, I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna tell you that I need you. I need you every day. You'll get weary of my touch, that's how much I'm gonna tell you that I want you. I wanna let you know. Oh, you're the only.
Back into here. Feels good.
The concrete footers came out great. Just about 300 feet of footers, and were level within 1/8 of an inch throughout. There are 4 steps we have to take before we start the foundation, and luckily a good friend of mine, Danny Dixon, is here to help with all 4. First, we have to strip all the footer forms off. Second, we have to install the radon pipes. Radon comes from the natural decay of uranium that is found in nearly all soils. Typically, it moves up through the ground, into the air, and into your home through cracks and other holes in the foundation. A radon pipe vents the radon gas safely out of the house. Next, we had to drill and place rebar for vertical strength. And lastly, you guessed it, more stone. We need to bring the stone up level with the footers for the basement slab. We feel confident with how the footers turned out, and I learned a ton. Now we're geared up to start building the foundation. Helping me move the ICF forms here is Jenna. Smitty built her parents' house, and she's helped all summer before heading back to college. Her toughness and work ethic has significantly aided us in getting to where we are with this build. She fits right in out here, and we both have learned a lot. It was a blast to learn how to build a house foundation with styrofoam. I think the best way to describe these is grown-up Legos. They snap right into each other. The Nudura ICF has a ton of advantages. The first and most valuable advantage is how much easier they are on your body. These forms are nice and light, and when we need to cut a form to size, it's as easy as cutting styrofoam. Smitty and I did the math. If we were to lay the block for this foundation, it would require around 2,000 cement blocks. There's a good chance that would kill us. Secondly, the ICF blocks increase the house's energy efficiency by a significant number. Once the foundation is built and poured full with concrete, there's no need to even insulate. And lastly, these forms just allow for a stronger foundation. Before we can continue running courses of forms, we have to pour our basement slab. This will allow better traction for the ICF braces when we fill the forms with concrete. Thompson and Foster, the pros we call for concrete, were instrumental in any ICF questions we had during the process and prepping us for an awesome basement slab.
Okay, so we got the first 2 courses of Nudura set up. We have the poly down as well as the rebar and everything set up for the concrete slab in the unfinished basement. But we can't go any further until that slab is poured and we can set up the scaffolding and continue up with the foundation. So what we're gonna do is dig the porch piers along the foundation and then pour the footers the same day that we pour the slab. Yeah, let's see here. We got an excavator rented and Smitty's gonna be doing his best to dig out these porch piers. Should be fun.
We're building the wraparound porch similarly to the house, and we start by digging holes where the porch pier footers will be located to support the load of the porch. All in all, it took us a full working day to dig the 12 porch pier footings.
All right, well, we're pouring the concrete slab today. We did the footers ourselves. We let the rookies do it, but we called up the pros today to make sure that this concrete slab for the basement is nice, true, and clean. They got a pump truck here, and they got multiple rounds of concrete truck, so should be a fun day. All right, so the concrete slab is poured. We got it nice and level and true. We also poured all 12 of the porch piers, and now we're taking the power trowel and making sure the basement is finished up right.
The power trowel is a machine that compresses the newly poured concrete and creates a nice, smooth, and polished finish. Now that the concrete has cured, the last step for the basement slab is to cut an expansion joint. This is a small cut that allows the concrete to expand and contract without putting stress on the floor when the temperature changes. Once this is complete, we can finish the foundation and start framing.
Next time on Let's Build a House.
Tapping with my finger on the window. You keep pushing me away. I should let go. Messed up, I still